All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Lisa, for getting us started on the recording. Welcome to our November Project Management Community Group meeting. So we've got a flex agenda for us today. So if Lisa will go ahead and advance, we'll give our typical start of meeting housekeeping notes, which are remember to keep your Zoom line on mute. If you happen to be using a phone for call-in, don't place us on hold. We're not too big of fans of elevator music. And this is a little more interactive than we normally do. So please do raise your hand if you have a question. And once we get to the second half of the meeting, absolutely use chat, and we'll open mics and allow folks to speak freely as well as we go through this. So we are recording today. I will give a caveat to our recording. We may choose to either not post the recording based on what we, if we talk about, if we get into sensitive topics. I know sometimes folks want to be mindful of that. And we may actually choose to remove the next section of the meeting as we get into it, just for the sake of folks who are watching after the fact, because it just really won't be as much fun for them as it is for us today here. So for that, we will move on, give a quick agenda. I am John Preddy from George Mason University. I am your host for one last time today. With me is Lisa Velos, our co-chair. We've got Adam, one of our steering committee members, who's going to be leading us in our activity. And our topics for today, we're going to talk a little bit about our transition on the leadership team, and a little bit of a recap of what we did at the annual meeting. And then we will have an open discussion time. So we know there's been some good discussions going on across the EDUCAUSE Connect list. So if there's things we want to talk about from that or any other topics, it's time for you to talk with your peers. So a housekeeping note about the transition. A little over a year ago, we actually started the steering committee associated with the Project Management Community Group. We have 6 members of the steering committee that assist the 2 co-chairs, myself and Lisa, with the overall oversight of the group. And it's been great having that as I wrap up my time in my 3 years as co-chair. So this is my last meeting as co-chair, excuse me, as I get a little bit choked up. And I'm going to be moving down to the steering committee starting in January. And one of our steering committee members, Jen Birch, will be moving up into the co-chair responsibility. So we will do a virtual round of applause. I don't have enough time on there to say thank you to Jen, and we look forward to having you. And Lisa, thank you for wrapping up your little over first year as a member of the co-chair group. So thank you for that. It's been wonderful working with this group in this role for the past 3 years now.
And we want to all thank John for leading us for the last 3 years through multiple partners. Correct, John, if I'm right? It's been at least 2 or 3 of us that you've worked with throughout your 3-year term.
We do. We overlap a little bit. So we've started through before us here. So that's what we try to do, is stagger them so everybody gets some continuity, but get some fresh blood as well. So as we go through it. But yes, so, and a shout out to the other members of our steering committee, Carol, Earl, Adam, Ed, and Jen Smith, who and Earl and Jen Smith are our 2 newest members who just joined us this summer. So as we take on additional responsibilities, especially with what we'll talk a little bit very briefly at the end about with the EDUCAUSE Connect transition and some of the things we're working on there into 2022. Thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Adam Petrie from Kansas State, who is going to give us some information about the PMCG and what we're up to, what we've been doing. But we're going to do it with a little bit of a twist. So we said we could go boring or we could have a little bit of fun. So we're going to have a little bit of fun today. So Adam, I'm going on mute, shutting down, and hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, John. I appreciate that. And to the point that John was making, don't feel too bad for him because he's moving to the steering committee, which means you have just as much fun as he had as the lead with absolutely none of the responsibilities. So don't feel too bad for him there. I think he's going to be in good hands. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We do have a Kahoot set up, and I know we don't have too many folks in our meeting today, but we do certainly have enough to go through this exercise. We did this at our our annual meeting, and we had a much smaller group because of the billing and where we were at in terms of the center that we were in. But we're going to largely redo some of this, and it was actually pretty good learning to get a better understanding of the group, the project management community group, some information about what has changed in the project management world in the last year or so, and then also just some general information about Philadelphia. So we decided to leave the general information about Philadelphia in there. So that's good news. So you may learn something in any one of those three areas. So if you're familiar with Kahoot, what we'll have you do is either in a browser or on your smartphone, navigate to kahoot.it, or you can open up the Kahoot app, of course, if you have that, enter the game pin. I see we have quite a few people who are familiar with this and have started to join here. We did have a note in the presentation to try to do your best to keep it fairly business professional, and I think everyone's doing a great job at that. So I absolutely love the name. That's great. We'll give it another minute or so to let people join. If anyone has any problems, or you want to unmute and speak up, let me know. It seems like it's working with quite a few folks here. Cool. Sounds like we're not having too much of an issue there. We'll pause for just a second and see if there's anybody that's manically trying to get in and hasn't quite gotten there before we kick it off. All right. All right, anybody else that'll be joining, or should we go ahead and start? If anybody's trying to get in and wants us to pause for another 30 seconds or so, let me know. Okay. In the meantime, we wisely had a couple of people that decided to bail. So that was a good move. Everyone else, you're stuck.
And just remember, you can play along even if you didn't have a chance to join in.
That is a good point. All right, so if you're familiar with this, this is just a warm-up question. Click the button. That is the color blue. It's just a warm-up question to dust off how Kahoot works. All right, good deal. We had the majority of folks who did that. So, okay, good. It looks like we have the dust kicked off and we're ready to proceed. All right, we're going to get into the really hard questions now. Well, of course, I can't forget about the scoreboard. All right, got Jenny H. Top here. All right, John and Lisa are co-chairs of the PMCG. I didn't realize that this is kind of a tricky question because we will be going through a transition in about a month, but we did just cover this. Good deal. Yeah. So until the end of the year, John and Lisa are co-chairs. We'll have Jen stepping in to take John's spot, and John will be moving back down to the steering committee. So for the rest of the year, John and Lisa are the co-chairs of the PMCG. Okay, we have Grace climbing up there. Good deal. All right, what is the latest and greatest edition of the PMBOK? Got me really curious how many people are going to select the red triangle. All right, we got at least one. I love it. I love it. It is, in fact, the 7th edition. That came out fairly recently, a number of months ago. And John, I know we have somebody that might be trying to join. I'm not certain you can join in right now, but you can give it a try, kahoot.it, with the game pin that's down below in the share here, 501-2955. All right. We will continue on. Yeah, Julia that has climbed to the top now. Who can present content on our monthly PMCG webinar? All righty, good deal. Yeah, and the point of kind of bringing this up is that we can and do often go out to the community, which we have approximately, well, I don't want to tell you that. That's a question later on. We have a number of people who are part of the PM community group. And from time to time, when there is a hot topic that comes through, what used to be the listserv, which is now the new EDUCAUSE platform. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we certainly will reach out to different folks, or if there's a topic that is pretty hot, we may reach out to individuals who kind of pose the question or have an interest in that topic area to present at our monthly project management community group webinar. So just a reminder that anyone can present, and if you have ideas or suggestions and want to pitch those up to the group, feel free to do that. We're always looking for folks that will help us run these monthly webinars. All right, have a shake up at the top again. Good deal. And so this gets into the Philadelphia themed, but what year did the first official brewery open up in Philadelphia? This is where the EDUCAUSE conference was held this past year. Good deal. This is a bit of a random one, but 1683, so predates the, the creation of the country by about 100 years. I was able to make it to Philadelphia for the annual conference. It was really great networking, and I will say there are certainly some pretty solid breweries there in Philadelphia as well. So I know next year, if you all have an opportunity to join us, there's a lot of networking and things like that. All righty. Another shake up at the top. What is the name of the new EDUCAUSE collaboration platform, the platform we've been using that's largely replaced the listserv? Okay, great. Yeah, it is EDUCAUSE Connect. So I think many folks have been utilizing the new functionality there. I'm hoping that everyone who has an interest in becoming active there has either reviewed the message boards, set up your email cadence that you can get kind of a daily digest or every single one of the emails. I know personally I've posted a couple topics and received responses back through the platform, if not on the side as well. So I'd say it's been pretty beneficial there. And John dropped a copy of the link there in the chat. So if you're unfamiliar with the link and want to favorite it, it's in the chat. Oh, and John reminded us that it's in Denver for 2022. If it's around the same time, what's Denver like in October? Do I want to ask that question? It's warm and sunny then, right?
I wouldn't call it warm, but it's not super cold either.
I'll take it.
And if it does snow, wherever the side is where the sun's shining, the snow melts. So then you got snow on the back of the buildings. But
either way, it's pretty, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go with it. Okay, good deal. Thanks, John. Have a couple more questions. In PMBOK 7, the 10 knowledge areas are replaced by the 12 philosophies. Is that true or false? And I'm going to cheat and Google this real quick. You'll have to excuse me. So that is false. And I had to remind myself what those are replaced with. And I believe it's actually the performance domains. I think there's 8 or so of those. So they changed the 10 knowledge areas to, I think it's the 8 performance domains. And if you all have your PMP cert and have gone through that, you certainly know how much time and effort it takes to study that. So that's actually a pretty substantial change, those being replaced. So I wanted to highlight that as one of the big changes in PMBOK 7. All right, Chris, got you up to the top there. What's the most popular PMCG discussion topic of last year? We have 4 different topics here. And while we'll mention that the 4 that we picked here were all some of the, and quite honestly are mostly on a year-to-year basis, some of the more heavy hitters, the Agile project management had the most traction, the most response on the listserv, the most response on the EDUCAUSE Connect platform as well. And I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on this top leaderboard, but there will be bragging rights for approximately 345 days of being the PMCG leader in this, Kahoot leader. So now I know this is really going to drive some people off to try to get to that top score, but you will have bragging rights for a whole 345 days before reset for next year when we do something similar at our annual meeting. So Mr. Fantastic, way to go. Which fact about Philly is not true? There's 4 facts here. You're going to select the one that's not true. All right. Shockingly, the one about America's first cheesesteak is true. I kind of figured, I made that one up before I looked anything up to understand, you know, can that really be true? And apparently it is. It's America's first cheesesteak. They also had the first hospital and the first zoo. I don't know if anybody wants to double check me. I got this from a very reputable source. I'm pretty sure I got this from BuzzFeedNews.com. So I'm sure that this is absolutely correct. So good thing that the points are made up and you know, the ending rankings don't matter. BuzzFeed has never sent me wrong here. All right. 3 more. How many members are part of the project management community group? We have some buckets of users here, numbers here. So funny story with this, we actually did go over 1,500 recently. And as you can tell, I did not do a good job as the Kahoot master and put in the change. So 1,500 plus is actually the total. So I'm sorry for everyone who put that. You get secret extra bonus points. So add 1,000 points onto the end of this because you got the correct answer. It was hovering around 1,400 for quite some time. So again, we have quite a reach. So when you do put a topic out on EDUCAUSE Connect, or you know, in the past when you sent something out to the listserv, you were getting quite a reach across, you know, public, private, 2-year, 4-year, doctoral, research institutions, things like that. So it's quite the reach. All right, you got just a couple more. How many professionals have the title project managers in the world? And again, we have ranges here. And this is not necessarily just on the education side. This is just the title of project manager. All right, and it is 10 to 20 million. I had no sense when we started to form this question how many that was. I believe it's in the 15 million range. So yeah, it's kind of solidly right in the middle of that range. So the profession itself, I mean, this could be construction project manager or anything else. The profession itself obviously has millions of people in it. Just thought that was a pretty interesting fact. All right, what is the name of the FX comedy television show that takes place in a semi-fictional bar in Philadelphia? We even have a picture for this one. I love it. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You got it. All right, and the last question. What does your team want to discuss at today's meeting? And you can just answer this as quickly as possible. There is no right or wrong answer here. So this is really just polling the group. Okay. Great, we have a pretty healthy split with org structure and prioritization kind of coming in up top. And again, these are just some heavy hitter topics that we have from time to time just to get a sense of what folks are interested to hear about. So Kahoot does the little podium item here. So we have Ringer. Chris, and the winner, Madison. Awesome. That was so dramatic on the edge of my seat. That was great. So thank you all for humoring us. I think this is just a good opportunity to take a look at some PMCG type items, you know, to learn a bit more about the PM role in general. And I guess some now kind of irreverent Philadelphia facts, the fact that, you know, it was about a month ago when we went there. So yeah, that was pretty much what we were hoping to accomplish today. Thank you all for participating. And like I said, Madison, you get 345 days of bragging rights. So congratulations on your win.
Actually, Adam, thank you for leading us in that as Lisa brings up the main topic again. One of the things we like to do when we look at those things are provide just opportunities to use different tools to help different ways that we can share information. So whether it's surveys or playing a game, there's different ways that people learn and get engaged. So hopefully you did enjoy that today. And one of the things I think we didn't say was for Madison, our winner, who said thank you, it was fun. That means what you win is you get to lead us in our next PMCG webinar. So you know more than anybody in the group. So you get to lead us in January. How does that sound? I'm waiting to see if Madison very quickly drops off the call.
Well, now Madison's heart rate is skyrocketed. Thank you for that, John.
So, but it's truly a group of peers leading peers and working with peers. So for what we do, a couple things building on what Adam talked about in there. He mentioned the EDUCAUSE Connect platform. That was really what we've been crazy with since the early September, as our group was an early adopter onto the new tool. As point of reference. So we're moving away from the listserv, as you've seen, and we're also moving away from the Google Wiki site. We're going to be doing some transition there. But we have the new product, EDUCAUSE Connect, which you can set up your profile and join in our group and any of the 70 other community groups that are available through EDUCAUSE, and share and participate. And that's really, to me, through my almost 15 years now as being a part of the EDUCAUSE community, has been one of the most beneficial areas of the entire organization, is what we get from meetings and work like this. So as we mentioned, the community group is over 1,500 strong right now from a membership. So we have, Adam said, members across all different types of institutions, public, private, large, small, urban, rural. We use all different tools, all different sizes and types of project management offices or lack thereof in our organization. So it's a great way to share information. We hold our monthly webinars. We have a range. Sometimes we have very specific topics and presentations like we've had over the last year. And sometimes we have sessions like this where really just treat them more like an open office hours or a coffee talk type of session where we get a chance to talk about whatever is the topic of the day. We stood up our YouTube channel in the last year, thanks to all the work from Ed Puckett, who's got us rolling on that, integrated in so we can have access to the recordings of our webinars as we hold them for those who can't join us. And we have a very active presence at the annual conference, ranging from this year we had 2 different in-person activities, really 3 different in-person activities and 1 virtual activity at the conference. So we participated in a virtual poster, an in-person poster session, our community group session, and we actually hosted a small game night where we were able to share and show a project management learning board game that was created by one of the members of this and the other EDUCAUSE communities. So that is the formal portion of the meeting. Now we get to open it to the discussion session. I'm going to hand it over to my co-chair, Lisa, who is really going to facilitate and talk about whatever the folks that are on the call, whatever you'd like to talk about. So feel free to raise your hand, drop a topic in chat, speak up whichever way is most comfortable to you, and we will take it from there.
So as John mentioned, we did do a virtual poster session, and during that session, some of the topics that you're seeing on the screen are the ones that kind of came up, and folks, we talked briefly about them during that session. I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments. If you have a topic you'd like to talk to that isn't one here, you can actually see the organizational structure came up again. That's always a popular one, and understanding what the PMO organizations look like at those institutions. We're glad to all share information about that. Since that was kind of the top runner, right, Adam, in the Kahoot session, and what you'd like to talk about today. That was also a topic during that poster, as well as PMP certifications and the ever popular project intake and prioritization conversations. Does anyone want to open up their mic and ask a question or post anything in the chat to get the topic discussion going today?
Hello, this is Jasper Stewart from Georgia Southern University. I am curious as to find out how you guys do project intake and prioritization. Is it just a free-for-all whenever you want to submit something, or do y'all do it like on cycles, and then how do you prioritize and know which one is the priority for the organization?
Who would like to take that? Adam, John, anyone else?
I could probably give a little bit of an answer, at least on the University of Michigan side. Granted, we have more than one PMO, but as far as our central IT department project management office, we actually used to have more of a formalized schedule or cycle of project intake and prioritization, but increasingly over the last few years have run against pressures to try and do more innovative projects and pilots and proof of concept style projects that don't neatly fit into that cycle. And so we found that it was better to have those cycles as a starting point, but have more frequent touch points with service managers and owners for us to try and evaluate any new upcoming initiatives that need to be reevaluated and fit into whatever our resource capabilities are. So I think, I don't know if that's the norm for everybody else, but it seems like word is that there are a lot of, as digital transformation is becoming the ongoing thing, there are more pressures to try and spin up these quick one-off initiatives, and you need to be able to flex and move quickly. And that doesn't fit into a yearly or a bi-yearly cycle as well. John's smiling, so I'm sure he's dealing with some similar issues over on his side, but.
Right, I can speak to. I'm laughing because Jasper, it's a question that we've been trying to find the magic answer to for many years, and we're actually going where I'm at George Mason University in Northern Virginia. We are actually in the process of reworking ours. So we had identified a standardized intake form, and from a process perspective, we did what I would call a continuous intake with a periodic review, meaning folks could submit their request anytime they want, but we would have certain cutoffs for reviews from our governance organization. We used to have a bi-monthly review that would get split depending on the type of request it was. So we created, and actually our governance team identified 5 different types of projects that could come in from a request perspective, meaning they could be an internal mandate, which is something the president, the provost, or the senior vice president over administration and finance would ask for. It could be an external mandate, something we have to do for compliance or maybe audit response. It could be a required maintenance project, something that we need to do, those sort of standard, hey, Microsoft or Oracle upgrades on a database that have to be done. We have to get our Linux servers all updated from Red Hat 5 to Red Hat 7, or because we're so far behind, or things like that. Those are maintenance projects. And then we have our capital projects, which is anything having to do with building. And then everything else we call strategic, which were improvements around the organization. So our cross-functional governance group said, we don't care about your maintenance projects. You do you. Which is kind of what Jen was saying with hers, where things that need to go through the process. So we would have our internal IT leadership teams review and prioritize those. And then we had a cross-functional governance group, which would meet every 2 months and create a prioritization for the other efforts. And what they did for their prioritization is we actually had an intake form, and I know I've shared it multiple times. I think it may even be out on the EDUCAUSE Connect site. It may be one of the templates we've moved over that we use for scoring. So that way we could take somewhat subjective measures and make them a little bit more objective in nature so people get closer to apples comparisons. I'd love to say that that was, awesome and it worked perfectly and everything. We're in the process of revamping it because it didn't get us as much as what we needed to get to because we had no budget authority tied to it. Now we've got our budget team saying, hey, we want to know what it's going to take to really do these. So it becomes less of an order-taking governance and more of a strategic, the opposite of what Jen was saying a moment ago, type of governance, which is we're looking at these more investment program types of things. We want to know what we're getting into before we commit to them. Smaller governance, again, cross-functional, represents academic, research, business, and IT all have members on there. Small group, 7 people. They're just, in our case, they're starting this process. We're piloting it between now and January. So long-winded answer of there's probably no silver bullet to it, but a lot of us have done similar things. I credit Loyola of Maryland for providing the backbone to our initial governance, and I know I've shared it with multiple people since then. And if you're interested more, you can feel free to reach out to me, and I can point you to where our materials are from that.
I think one of our key learnings or takeaways from trying multiple approaches has been that we can't, we have to right size the service layers to where the organization is at, what maturity level and what they're ready for. And if you try to become too top heavy and put too many processes and procedures in place when they're not ready for that, you don't get any traction at all. You end up getting more people having issues and failing to meet the deadlines and just struggling to do any work. And so we have to just keep an eye on the organization as a whole and sort of scale and grow with them. And we made that decision to scale back from that more official process to one that was a little bit more light, with more of a we'll watch you and we'll keep tabs on things and help guide you and coach you rather than, oh, look, you missed your deadline again. Sorry, you're going to have to wait. So it's a different way of coming at things, but a lot of it goes back to where that organization is at and what kind of buy-in you have and what kind of leadership support you have. And, there's a lot of different factors to look at. And we've realized that that is the more important factor to figuring out how to apply the right processes.
I'd say, Jasper, I love this topic, and I think that's why Lisa mentioned, Adam, John, Jen, others, if you have anything to say. And I'll just mention on top of what everybody else said, that it's absolutely impossible to keep everyone happy. I think everyone on this call can acknowledge that. So you're trying to balance speed and flexibility and administrative overhead and things like, you're trying to balance all that stuff with governance and prioritization, things like that. I came from an institution that we had developed over time a pretty well understood, and I'll say generally accepted prioritization process, because again, you're never going to make everyone happy. I am working at Kansas State University now, and we're changing our ITSM PPM tool, and we're putting into place some of the principles of what I had at my previous institution. So I'd say that our goal is to get to the point where we are taking in requests throughout the year, what we'll consider a project or initiative request. We are currently holding monthly governance reviews, so we have the right people in place that can help make those strategic yay or nay decisions. We do triage these requests and have an analyst that does some of the scoring and business case development, so they're seeing a similar template and cadence for the requests as they're coming in, and they can kind of weigh the information together. And then ultimately what we're trying to get to is resourcing based on that prioritization. And we're allowing that to be disconnected from the scoring metrics, like those hard metrics, to really allow for some wiggle room for executive privilege, because something may come in that doesn't match, the criteria that we set forth perfectly. And so if you had it directly tied to those metrics, it would be, oh, this is a priority 2 and won't get staffed for quite some time. But we do want to give the president provost, the C-suite, the VP level, the ability to say this is have some negotiating power amongst their peers and say this is really important for us, and we want to see this be a priority one. So it's kind of the basis, the process, as well as the relationships and the governance group that you have that can put that together. That's the point we're trying to get to. But again, kind of disconnecting the hard metrics that you're collecting and allowing for that executive privilege. And we do kind of have a continuous cycle that on a monthly basis, we get the governance group together to approve, not only approve projects, but shortly to do the prioritization. So you can have the discussion of, if you want this priority 1 project, we have, this priority 2 or 3 that utilize the same teams that will likely have to be put on hold. Are we willing to accept that? And I could go on forever about that. So I'm going to go on mute now.
So your culture is set up in such a way where things just don't pop up, I'm guessing, or if they, because that's what happens with us. We'll have this priority list and we're working through it, and then boom, some emergency pops up. We got to drop everything. Where does that go in the priorities list? Is it just the highest member of the culture can say this is my top priority and that's what you go with? But
yeah, we've had those exact same discussions. If it's something that is kind of a non-discretionary or something we need to staff because it has severe risk to the institution, we'll do kind of an electronic vote through the governance group and say, this is the request that needs to come through. It needs to go now, or there's severe, risk implications to the institution. Utilizes these teams. Our lowest priority projects are these. Are you okay that if we put these on hold or delay the go live of these in order to staff this other project? And if we need to do that on an emergency basis and it doesn't work out exactly on a monthly cycle, then we do that in between there. So yeah, it's really just basically a makeup of the structure behind the prioritization, and also the makeup of the group, because that governance group has to be flexible enough to say, no, when we met 6 months ago, this is our priority. We're never moving that. Things don't change. It's kind of having that idea that things obviously do change in this environment, and we need to be flexible enough to adjust.
And I'll add is, Jasper, I think it seems like you actually probably have more knowledge than what you think you have, and we're probably providing either more comfort or more heartburn in the process, because we see the same thing, which is we lived in an environment where priorities were changing every month. It was whatever, it's whatever the flavor of the day was would hit and would jump to the top of the list. What we found, and I think it builds on what Adam said, is by having that list just to begin with that said, remember, these are the priorities you set, and being deliberate, that was I can never attribute the quote, but it's that which is measured improves. So just by the fact that we had a list that said, here are our priorities, it gave a little bit of pause before readjusting them every month, every week, et cetera. And we were able to then say, that's fine. We're not telling you this can't be the top priority, but just like Adam said and Jen said, if it's going to be the top priority, we're going to look at the list and see what has to give in order to be able to do that. And that to us has really been the biggest win that we've had off of our prioritization, more so than than a lot of the deeper things that we've tried to do. It's that level of victory. In the future, maybe we'll be able to say, this has to give because we're going to need 423 hours to do this effort that's now our top priority, which means I've got to take away 200 hours from this one and 100 hours from this one and that sort of thing. We'll never get to that. I don't know that we'll ever get to those levels of detail.
The issue we have here is that I'll say, okay, we got the list. We need to take something off. No. I need to do all that and this. So I need you to figure out how to get it all done. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully I can get to where I can, take things off,
Yeah, I'd say the sentence, if you want this, then our recommendation is to remove or pause that, as long as you can bring together what the recommendation would be realistically using those resources. I think that's a better conversation, or maybe a better way to frame the conversation.
We often find that, again, my teams we're stuck in a position where there's always a bigger, shinier tool that they want to implement, like yesterday. And it's almost always a burden for the project manager to try and do that business case for one or the other. And we do a really bad job, I admit it, of coming up with the benefits realization and like information to evaluate against upfront early on in the project. So you kind of scramble at that moment, and I'll pull like a 24-hour pulling together the slide deck that shows, you know, if you decide to go with this one, here's what's going to happen with this other one. And if you choose to go with this one, here's what, and if you want to do both of them, here's what you're looking at for impacts on the resources and the teams and all the other stuff that they're working on. And I have to put that into like, you know, the very simplistic 1-2 slide deck when that's it, to give it into those executives to say, okay, now you make your decision. You're informed, you've got the impacts, it's your call, but you're going to have to make a decision one or the other, because there's no easy way for us to just accept the problems that we're going to have with keeping both of them. And if somebody doesn't do that, we find that those teams will end up working around the clock over the weekend, burning the midnight oil nonstop, and then we're risking losing staff. As awesome as they are, that's not a cool position to put your teams into, to have to deal with that kind of thing. And we have had one team that I had a coworker that they just had another one of those projects that was a pet project, spin it up and have it ready by August. And that team was literally about 250 to 300% allocated. That's a scary thought. Somebody needs to put the information in front of them.
Well, I've appreciated all these answers. I've been taking notes, so I got some things to digest and think about. Thank you.
We've got a lot of good additional feedback going through the chat for you too.
Yeah.
So there is a question about what is the governance structure of IT Review Board? I don't know, Rishi, do you want to expand on that at all?
Sure, I'll open up the line. I'm trying to get a sense for who's on that IT Review Board for the internal projects before we open it up to the rest of the campus talking about cross-functional teams. That's even a bigger challenge. Within IT, who sits on this board to identify and help you prioritize for resource requirements, as well as to identify how you're going to prioritize the project requests that are coming in?
And Rishi, I'll just mention briefly that at Kansas State University, there was kind of an internal IT project review board that would meet before the project governance group. And that was sort of disbanded well before my time. And I think part of the perception, and that wasn't, you know, what was really happening, but part of the perception is that, you know, IT got first stab at this and was curating that list that even went on up to the more enterprise-wide governance group. And that wasn't, you know, the optics of that were not what we were looking for. So we actually ended up kind of removing the internal IT review ahead of the more broad-based governance group, just to avoid that perception.
Good advice, that's helpful. Thanks, Adam.
And I'm going to steal sharing for just a moment, only because it's open on my desktop in the background for what we're working on right now. So just from the Mason perspective, what we have and that we're working on is a governance primarily at this orange level. If it's big enough for folks to see, I can make it a little bit bigger. But it's our new group is it's an investment review subcommittee, which is filtering up to our budget team for things. So when we look there, we know that they're not going to know everything. So then we also give them reach back to when we may have a governance team around our ERP system or around our reporting or our data teams, et cetera. So we look for that. And then the breakdown that we're looking at in the team, we had a big group. We had our previous generation that I was mentioned to Jasper was grew to probably 20 plus people, and it just became non-functional from a decision-making group. So what we did was we said we want to identify a representative group, which is what we're putting together right now. I blacked out or greened out our appointees just from a sensitivity topic, but mostly because not all of them necessarily know that they've been appointed yet. It's that hot off the presses. But we have, our team we're looking at 7. And we wanted to make sure that it was a good mix of academic and business, because the academic side always comes and says, well, they're, they don't know, we're here to educate, we're here to do this and that. So it allows us to be able to have that strong mix. So we allow our faculty senators appointing a member, our provost appoints 2 members, our VP of research appoints a member. So that's 4 out of 7 that come from a more academic perspective in this group. And then our SVP, which is the business side of the house, she gets 2 members, and IT gets a voting membership, and representation there. So that makes up our 7. And they are typically high-level directors or direct reports to the folks in these organizations. So they are people who really know our university inside out, backwards, forwards, and can represent something beyond just their own interests, which is a problem we've run into previously. And with that, I will stop my share and let Lisa have it back.
Other questions on the same topic or something different? Let me, as we've said a number of times, we're always looking for volunteers who are passionate about something to lead one of our sessions. We have a whole new year, 2022 in front of us, and we are looking forward to engaging lots of you to share things that you're passionate about, whether it's your school individually doing a presentation about your process, maybe collaborating with 1 or 2 other schools. We're glad to help facilitate putting a panel together if you have a topic of interest. Lots of different ideas. So we're always looking for volunteers. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us on the steering committee, co-chairs, or just even be willing to post something in our discussion boards. So we are going to be doing some behind the scenes work in December, again, around our leadership transition and transitioning our current website that we've had for years out on just the general EDUCAUSE site. We're going to be transitioning a lot of those resources into the Connect platform, so that not only are the discussions there, but then all of the resources, the webinars, things that we posted, templates. We put lots of templates out there for sharing amongst organizations. And the new Connect platform does allow anyone to be able to go out and share templates. So be watching for more information about that. We'd love contributions from all of your schools. But on this slide, you can see we're going to cancel that December sort of winter break behind the scenes working meeting, and then kick off our next meeting on January 18th. And we're likely to be going over that Connect platform that we built during the month of December and really made a little more robust. But we definitely have time for other topics that month as well. You can kind of pinpoint all of these. There will be a calendar available out on Connect once we get these dates all loaded out there. It's basically, we try to rotate between Tuesdays and Wednesdays and rotate the time as well. So in case it's overlapping with anyone's calendars and other standing meetings. But this is just an overview. Our next meeting, as we said, January 18th, 2022. I don't know, just check the chat. Was there any other questions anybody would like to talk about? Anything, any members of the steering committee that like to add anything? Okay. Once again, I don't want to speak for everyone, but we are definitely all very glad for everything John has contributed over the last 3 years. All the ideas, dashboards, the many presentations he's been willing to hop in and give. It's been a wonderful year being your kind of partnering co-chair, but thank you so much. And we look forward to you joining our steering committee.
Thank you, Lisa. I am definitely not running a steering committee. I look forward to participating, and I know that it's amazing to see what this group has done and what the committee has been able to add to and build as we transition and learn from those who have come before us and learn and grow. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for today. Hope you had fun playing Kahoot with us. And if you have any suggestions for other topics, like Lisa said, let us know. You can both volunteer to lead a session, or if there's something you want to know more about, let us know. And that's what we're here for. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.